check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
How's it going, guys? Electron Man. Well, I'm out here. I wanted to get back to this old Midland 13881. I think it's probably the ugly duckling of Midlands, and why I have put so much time, I do not know. I don't know. Maybe I just got a thing for unsightly items. I don't know. I can't explain it. But anyway, I did a part 1 on this video, and the switch here, the scan switch, was just crusted, completely broke. Here it is, and I went out online, and I probably spent 3 or 4 hours at least searching to find something that I could use, and the best switch I could find was this one right here, which is another 3-position 4-pole switch, basically. And you know, the bad thing about when you buy on the internet is it's not always what you think. You know, well, the pictures had it this big, you know. Well, when I got it, I thought it was going to be the same size as this one. Well, needless to say, they're not even close. In fact, there's the bracket that switch sits in cases like that, and you know, it's what, a quarter of the size. So anyway, but I spent a whole like $8 on them. I bought 5 of them, and so I was like, well, I already spent the money. Maybe I can at least mod it and get it in there and work with it. Well, this guy right here, this whole complicated, convoluted 1381, every single one of the wires on this switch here, all 8 poles of it, are used. And there's even some cross jumpers, and so it was tight on here. Needless to say, getting it wired up to this right here was a pain in the butt. And I got one wired up and had it working, and then I thought, well, you know, I got to figure out some way to mount it, so I was going to enlarge these holes so that I could screw it down. And then what did I do? I blew the first switch out. Actually blew it up, you know, broke it, trying to drill a drill out, and it caught, and it ripped the switch. So then I had to go back, unsolder it all, and resolder all those probably 10 connections on this little bitty switch here. But anyway, I'm not complaining. Hell, I did it to myself. It just became a challenge. Like I said, I don't know why I put so many hours in this radio. It's got to be that. I think one reason is because on the top here, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm just gonna get the right light on it. But it says White Rover. So I'm guessing back in the day, probably in the 70s or whatever, somebody with the CB handle White Rover, this was their radio. And I don't know, it just kind of made it sentimental to me. But anyway, it's been quite the journey. Needless to say, I spent hours on the internet trying to find a switch. Forgot it was wrong size. Total pain in the tail to get that switch in there. And then it doesn't look factory, and I'm mad at myself. I probably could have got this felt behind there, but if you look close, you can see my little switch. What I ended up doing was just kind of boring it out behind there and actually epoxy that switch in. I mean, it already had this drilled out with this expansion over here, which I'll get to that here in a second. But hey, I got it done, and it became just a challenge, especially after I spent the money on the switch. I mean, if I were going to sell this radio, I got at least 10 hours bench time in this radio, at least.